What is good, and welcome back to the Freestyle Trick Tip. My name is Mike Osterman, and every week on this channel we cover some sort of a trick related to freestyle skateboarding. That's this stuff.
Nature would not intervene. Nothing stood in our way. Driven by a strange force within. Not a need for the prey.
Those are all my friends. They're really cool. I really like watching them skate. So if you guys have kept up with these videos, you've been watching the freestyle trick tips, chances are you've picked up things like the truck stand, the Casper, spacewalks, and walk the dogs, and all kinds of different footwork. And if you have, you may notice that these tricks tear your shoes up. We're talking like they destroy your shoes. Like a flamethrower to a snow cone, a tidal wave to a toddler, a blender to a baby corgi. Shoes go only so far with freestyle. I've been doing this for like 14 years and my skate shoes just get annihilated. I go through shoes so quickly and in a sort of different way than the average skateboarder. I blow out the bottoms of my shoes and I tear up the laces. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about how to best prepare your shoes for freestyle and how to repair your shoes after freestyling. You can make your shoes last a little bit longer with a couple of tips and with some ingredients such as shoe goo. This is a must. I used to buy more shoe goo for my skate shop than anything else. Jarek Skate Shop, Thomas, thank you for always keeping me stocked with shoe goo. They saved my life. Zip strips, zap straps, whatever you call these things. These sort of nylon, these are nylon strips that self-lock. You just feed them through like that. I'll explain how you use these in just a moment. It makes sense, I promise. An old ID card. This is my Illinois driver's license back when I was, you know, from Illinois. You don't have to use one of these. You can use a gift card or something hard and plasticky, but that's still flexible. And I'll get to that later. And then just your random stuff like duct tape, super glue, you know, the necessary things that you would fix your mom's favorite statue with.
Oh my God! What? That's my mom's most favorite piece! What? Oh my God!
We'll be showing you how all that comes into play in just a second. But first, skating. Let's watch some more skating. So first off, we have skate shoes. These are my last pair of skate shoes. They're pretty worn out. My right foot, pretty mellow. Left foot, what happened? Poor thing. I was doing a lot of walk the dogs at the time, a lot of footwork, and these got trashed. This is a very extensive hole. This isn't as bad as they usually get for me. Usually when you have a much smaller hole, what I would suggest doing is just taking a little glob of shoe goo and smearing it over the top of the shoe, just a little bead. Now you can use an ice cube to smooth it out with. I find that ice cubes work the best because the shoe goo doesn't stick to the ice as it melts, and it allows you to really spread the goo out in a thin, expanding layer without getting a lot of these like weird clumps or like having it stick and make a mess to anything. Now, if the hole is this big, what I suggest doing is taking an ID card. This is where the ID card comes into play, people. These are hard plastic. This, it was hard rubber and now there's no rubber. And when you're standing on the trucks of the board, the way you would for a pogo or a truck stand, the kingpin of that truck can do a lot of damage to your foot. I don't know how many times it's happened where I've had a huge hole in my shoe and I've started trying to do like truck transfers or fan flips or whatever, and I realize that I'm bleeding out of my foot because I've got a kingpin stabbing me in the toe. You don't want to do that. And one way that I found you can prevent that is by sliding one of these guys in your sole. It's just gonna act as like a shield for that hole so that you don't blow through it. And what I like to do, I start off by taking out my insole, trying to figure out kind of where about the hole is. If you look here, you can see that the insole of my shoe is very worn out, and that's because I was skating on it. This was on the ground. So what I'll do is I'll line up the card, my ID card. I'll put my face out so people can see my face. I'll line that up and I'll just cut it to shape. All I'm gonna do is put a little glob of shoe goo on this side, stick them together. I'll have a little, I don't know, strange sandwich. It'll work. From here, I will just patch up the bottom of the shoe with a combination of duct tape and shoe goo. I like to do kind of layers of both because thinner layers tend to last longer in my opinion, and if you can just do thin layers of shoe goo and duct tape, it produces the best sort of patch for the bottom of a shoe. Now you can't go into this expecting that shoe goo is going to grip or withstand wear as well as the rubber that was already on your sole. There's no way this stuff is gonna match that. But it is a sort of band-aid, a cheap sort of extension for the life of your shoes. And now that your outsoles are repaired, we can move on to repairing the uppers. That is the suede portion of your shoes. Now shoe goo can go a long way for that, but one thing that I found really helps, and this is something that I learned from Joey Brzezinski, if you have a lot of stitching on the top of your shoe, doing tricks like pogos, doing tricks like truck stands, Caspers, kickbacks, a lot of tricks where the board is sitting on top of your foot, you'll find that the stitching on the outside of your shoe gets really torn up. On these, the swoosh is about to come off. This stitching comes apart, the structural integrity of the shoe sort of starts to fall apart, and it just doesn't feel like it hugs your foot the same way. So to protect that, and to keep all of these panels from coming apart, you can, before you get the shoes, take super glue and just leave a bead of super glue all along the outside stitches. Really any stitch that's gonna be exposed to like ollies or Caspers or anything. This goes for you street skateboarders too. And that can be your first line of defense against those tricks. Now, that doesn't help with your laces. You'll notice that I have no laces on this shoe. I just tore the crap out of them. Again, having the grip tape on the top of your foot, like you do in these sort of tricks. That can be really damaging to this stuff, man. Especially if you're trying to flip out, you're doing Casper flips, or you're doing some sort of flick trick. You have to really be scraping your foot against the grip tape. And laces don't like that, unless they're made out of like bulletproof material. They're not gonna hold up to that kind of wear. Now, one trick that I learned ages ago on the F forum, I think it was Robbie Williams who mentioned this, is you get a magical thing known as the zap strap, or zip strip, depending on if you live in the United States or Canada. And this stuff, it holds tight. It's made out of like hard plastic or nylon, I guess. And these things don't give in to the stress of grip tape as easily as laces do. And if you just feed them through, like so, you can create the same sort of snug feel that you need out of laces by just using these instead. Now, I only like to have the zap straps on like the first 2 or 3 lace loops of the shoe. If I have zip strips all the way up to the top of the shoe, I'll end up not being able to get them on my foot. So there you have it. 3 ways to quickly and easily repair your shoes, keep them lasting longer. I mean, besides that, the best thing you can do to make your shoes last longer is like not skateboard. Now I'm gonna jump to tomorrow so I can show you how all of this looks when it's all nice and dried and cured. And then we're gonna go test it out. I'll show you how it holds up to a little mini freestyle session and show you some skating. So off to tomorrow.
24 hours later.
Okay. It's early. Okay, I'm gonna probably whisper through this because everybody's sleeping, but I wanna knock this out before the sun goes down and I can't have all my day to skateboard. Because we're also filming my new part today, so after I wrap up this thing that's below the frame right now, I will be skating for the part. Here we go. The sole sealed up pretty well, eh? That is a sealed sole. And I'm not gonna say that this is gonna last as long as the rubber, it's not gonna grip as well, it's all around not gonna skate as well as a fresh rubber sole would. But this is a patch that will last a little bit longer and it'll make your skating possible for maybe a couple more sessions before you have to go out and buy shoes. If you're waiting for a paycheck, you're waiting for, you know, a sponsor to send you some stuff, you're waiting for whatever, having a little bit of a patch will help big time. Also, you're not gonna hurt your foot because I have that little card underneath there. So you're not just looking at rubber, you're not just looking at duct tape, this is card as well. Got the little zip ties, got 3 on there. And again, I'll put some laces up for the rest of the shoes so I can lace them tight. And I'll also probably adjust the tightness of those zip ties once I get them on my feet. The swoosh, I don't care about because, I mean, I can take or leave Nike, whatever. Yeah, stoked. These will last me at least today. So let's go test it out now, see how all this stuff holds up to a rigorous flat ground freestyle skateboarding session.
Silence after the shrieks died down. college, stumbling.
All right, so the aftermath is a little bit more extensive than I thought it would be. But you can see the shoe goo and the duct tape is still sticking to all the parts of the rubber and I guess canvas of the shoe, the underneath parts. However, they've peeled right away from the card and it's not doing much help at the end of the day. The upper, killing it. I mean, you can see no real tears. The super glue's holding up even though I'm doing a bunch of 50/50s. The new plastic laces are actually, if anything, they're hurting the grip tape. So that is one thing. So these will kind of scrape up your grip tape a tiny bit, but it's much better than having your shoes tear up, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, if you have a smaller hole than what I had, it was probably like, I don't know, it's probably like 2 inches wide in the hole. Probably should just get new shoes, but if you can get to the hole and fix it sooner, you can definitely use these methods to repair less extensive holes in your shoes. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more trick tips like this and other skateboard trick tips, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell button because it's a lot easier for me to get videos to you in your notifications if you hit that bell. We'll see you guys soon, and until then, keep dancing. See ya.